latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a review video on a new tent from Vango. So this here is the Vango Tay 300 CLR or colour. What essentially the kind of CLR range really is basically taking kind of core and key sizes in Vango's collection and basically using offcuts of materials they've made to use other tents and collaborate together to reduce the amount of waste. So it's almost repurposed material that they would have unnecessarily gone to sort of landfill or waste, and they've actually created something of it. So it's really quite nice in the way that essentially it's reducing their waste, but creating something we can still use. And certainly for like the festival market, it's that sort of next step to trying that full circle of not reducing, the impact we are on the environment, which is certainly a really nice sort of prospect to have. And we've seen that kind of with their recycled material, and this in a way was almost repurposed material, so that works nicely. Tay 300 is a really nice popular model, great sort of size, an inner up first fiberglass pole tent, small, compact, definitely ideal for the sort of the camper going for a weekend or for a festival, or for the kids to be chucked in. I've got one of these and use it myself quite a bit for those sort of smaller trips, which works really nicely. Fully taped seam, so it's nice and sort of waterproof, 3000mm hydrostatic head, and actually the colour is really quite nice, and it might vary from model to model depending on what materials they've used to make it. So that's why there's a bit more kind of cost involved. It's all new fabric, but it's given it a completely new kind of point in life. So you've got a decent sort of free zone tent, the nightfall bedroom, so it's quite nice and dark for when you want to get to sleep and hopefully don't wake up to that early morning light as well. You've got a ground sheet which is attached to the inner itself, and we've done a pitching video showing you how you can pitch this model as well if you wished. You've got ventilation at the top as well, which you don't normally see with kind of these kind of tents, so it helps with the airflow to reduce condensation as well, and stop it getting dripping on you. Little windows built into it as well, which also is a nice little touch. The ground sheet, if you want to, you can almost roll it back and have this as a wet area. The front door itself, you can buy some additional kind of like fiberglass poles and have that almost like a little mini canopy. So a little mini canopy, you can bring that out and make use of that. Alternatively, there are some additional extensions and canopies you can buy if you want to make it a little bit bigger as well, just sort of like little tarps, which works quite nicely. When you don't want to use it, of course, you can roll it away. But even things like the guy lines are actually, again, kind of repurposed. So they've made a real nice effort. And I think actually from a colour point of view, it's quite quirky, something a little bit different. The actual kind of main section, as you see in here, you've got a door which zips up completely. And I'll bring the camera in just a second. So again, you've got really nice kind of, almost like a purpley kind of darker bedroom, which works nicely. The bag itself, as you would expect, completely reused, so you've got little bits there, drawstring pipes, comes with its own pole bag and tidies as well. It's a decent sized sort of 3-person tent. I'd say probably it's definitely, I'd say you quite happily fit 3 people in here sleeping. Admittedly, it's probably more of a comfy 2, but I think it's still ample enough, and the cross dome kind of scenario gives it a good amount of structure as well, and there's ventilation at the top. But in fact, let's get the camera, have a little look inside. Quite small, decent sort of pack size, and you can see kind of the dimensions on our actual website as well. You've got the hanging point at the top there for a lantern, the ventilation points, and you sort of tie the fabric on. Inside. Little storage pockets in each side as well, just kind of allowing you to get so. You can kind of get a feel of inside of here, especially if you sort of bring that little front door out as a little canopy. It's quite a cosy little place to sleep in. I mean, I'm about 6'2", and I can happily lay down kind of lengthways inside of it. Colour coordinated poles as well, so again you've got 2 crossovers which are the same length. The front pole slightly different. There's a little tab kind of there to signify it's got a grey section in it, so it makes it a little bit easier when you're pitching it. But even like the pegging points for the guide points, as you can see, again they've reused the material there as well, which is really quite nice. And the vents, you can be open and closed as you see fit. Personally, I leave it always open just to allow that airflow and help that sort of condensation as such. Overall, yeah, I think it's a really nice tent, something a little different. I think from a price point of view, it's a little bit more money than a normal Tay, but you've got the kind of eco story behind it, and it's doing a bit more for the sort of environment and trying to stop more going into waste. But on the whole, I think it's nice, a bit quirky, something a bit different as well. and the little Patsakun's almost a little bit retro in a way, especially when you think of like the old blue logo and things like that. I think it's quite, I don't know, it's quite nice. I do like it. So yeah, that's kind of the Vango Tay 300 CLR. For more information, you can check the link below. I've always comment on the box below on what you think of it, whether it's a good, nice thing. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, it's always interesting to get your feedback, and then we can always pass that back on to the brands who make the stuff. But yeah, that is the Vango Tay 300 CLR, or colour in inverted commas.